This is just a quick little video about how could you keep your descriptions good and clear and the account code set up. So I'm over in the chart of accounts set up, and we have let's say all of these cash accounts, and the question comes up, why do you have these cash accounts? Who are the signatures over them? When were they approved? Where's the committee action for the approval and so forth. And so one handy way of keeping things straight is over in the chart of accounts setup, and we have under the general head tab here, you see, so this is what most people are used to seeing right here when they set up a new account. Okay, they set all this, the MOP settings, and they do the description and so forth. And the description has to be fairly disciplined because that's what's going to show up on any sort of schedule. And maybe, so you can't add too many notes onto it without it getting sort of ugly and long. So what's very useful is this thing over here under the General tab, and you can see where I already have it set up here. I have down here the long description, okay, and this long description can be used to explain the exact purpose of the account, and it could be fairly long. I don't want to test it right now, but you could put in something like open, the church policy requires that every bank account has a committee action that authorizes it to be opened by authority of AdCom committee action of November 1, 2009, agenda item 2009-2243, and signature on it is Fred Thompson and Julie Smith. Requires 2 signatures. Alright, so that's not so bad. Alright, and also available to us is this thing called user area. And so that's sort of a long description, is sort of self-explanatory. Now let's look at user area. User area can be any purpose you want to use it for. And what I've done, and what I think is a good idea, is that every one of my accounts I assigned to one of my accountants to be responsible for the reconciliations and what is in those balances. This is especially true with the balance sheet accounts. So every one of my balance sheet accounts were assigned to one of my accountants, and they were responsible for that account balance to be right. One of the things that is a real problem in accounting is that accountants work really hard to get the transactions right, but they also have to spend a little bit of time making sure the balance of the account is right. And so it's sort of is the understanding in what all accountants think is, if I have all the transactions right, I'll have the balance right. And in general, that's true, except for it is useful to step back every once in a while and say, is the balance of this account right? And so every month I had all of my accounts, all of my balance sheet accounts assigned to various accountants who were responsible to assert that balance is right, is reasonable. Okay, this is especially true for the accounts, the suspense accounts, that I would have suspense accounts based on different functions. For example, student, I had a suspense account connected to student accounts. So if they needed to suspend a transaction, the student finance department used that account. Instead of just throwing everything, all my suspended items into one big pot, I divided them amongst based on the different functions. But in any case, whoever was responsible for the account, I put their name right there. The beauty of this is that that field is filterable. Okay, so you could use it to filter different accounts. For example, if you wanted to set up a little bit of a way to divide the accounts into different categories, just a little structure design, put it in here, you know, not really replacing the analysis dimensions, but if you just wanted to have a little way to group your accounts, you could do it with that field. You could do anything you want to with that account, and it is a filterable and reportable amount, and so it's pretty handy, but I like using it for the name of the accountants. So once you have done that, and we can go over and take a peek at what the results of this are. All right, what will happen. All right, and so let's consider this right here. Now this is just a regular trial balance, and I have not done this for all of my accounts in my sample data, but you could see right here, this is where I did set it up, and the user, whatever's in the user field is showing up there, and whatever's in the long description is showing up there. And you could use formatting to make this so it wrapped the text and came within the body of your report if you had to print it. Alright, so to get those values, let's go back to the original query design. To get these values, you could see that I am putting out the user area and the long description under the chart of accounts. So there is long description, that's the long description, and then the user area is down here, okay, and it is able to be put over there and used. And you can also take this user area and put it up here as a filter. Say I only wanted to get I wanted a listing of all the accounts that belong to Mac. The accountant Mac, you know, was responsible for. It doesn't belong to him, but he's, you know, all the accounts that the accountant Mac is supposed to be taking care of. I can make this as a filter here and get only his listed. I could also list my accounts. I could, by under user amount, I can sort by the user amount, and that would put all of the accounts sorted based on the accountants responsible for them. And so in any case, that is the way that I got that. Let me undo this right here while I'm thinking about it. There we go. So that's the way that we got this little report here that lists all of the extended long descriptions for each of my accounts while we have the account, and then the user area. Okay. Now, another way that I could use this in a report is this one right here. You see, I'm making a statement of account, and the statement of account lists the account number, it lists the account name, it lists the user field. This would be the name of the accountant responsible, and this is the description. Okay, and that would work just as nicely too. So you have a full description of what the account's for, the accountant that's responsible, name of the account, and the code of the account. And that is built like this. Let's look at what those fields look like. Did something here I consider sort of bad practice, but I was just playing around here, relaxing this afternoon. And so what is being put out here is the account description. The regular description of the account name is right here, but the long description is where I put in that long purpose statement of the account, and then the user area is right here, the name of the account responsible. So I put each of these out into these four fields like I wanted to, show. So those fields are available for putting into a report, and for example, this statement of account. And so that's the use of the extended description and the user area in the chart of account setup. I think it's very helpful in managing and keeping everything nice and tidy and self-explanatory. Why are things there, and instead of the auditor having to ask a bunch of questions. So thank you for listening, and this next video you're going to find is very interesting, very useful, so I want to make sure that you watch it. So thanks for following through all of these.